The IIBA has published the Guide to the Business Analysis Body of Knowledge, fondly referred to as the BABOK Guide, to define and describe the various tasks and techniques, artifacts and constructs that are fundamental to the profession of business analysis. These concepts and constructs are fundamental to the practice of business analysis, yes, but more to the point, your understanding of these concepts and constructs is fundamental if you want to pass your exam. So how are you ever going to remember it all? My name is Lachman-Doucet, and this is Projerra, the channel dedicated to practical perspectives in business analysis and IT project management. In this video, I will share a practical and effective approach that I devised when I was studying for my PMP certification. I applied the same technique when I was studying for my CBAP certification. It worked for me, and it can work for you too. It's called the VisuAL method for visually assisted learning. Let's face it, studying the BABOK is a hard slog. It's black and white, and the learning is linear. Sure, the BABOK has evolved from a paper format to the PDF format, but the IIBA has not really adapted the structure or the presentation of the BABOK to leverage the colorful, dynamic, and interactive, self-driven exploration that's possible with today's modern technologies. I freely admit and acknowledge I am a visual learner. I like seeing diagrams and tables and flowcharts. And more importantly, I like seeing things in color. I love seeing images and icons, and I like seeing the meaning of those images and icons multiplied by the effect of different colors. I've also come to realize that I'm not a linear thinker. As a kid, I was a big fan of those build your own adventure storybooks. While studying for my CBAP, I figured that there had to be a better way to absorb all of these tasks and techniques. There had to be a way to make studying interactive and colorful and self-guided. And thus, the VisuAL method was created. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to give you a guided tour of the VisuAL BA Toolkit and share my ideas and intentions about how you may apply the toolkit to help you study for the ECBA, the CCBA, or the CBAP certification. Thousands of students have found these study guides in the VisuAL BA Toolkit helpful. You may find them helpful as well. So here we are at my website, projerra.ca. You can access the VisuAL BA line of products from the menu at the top of the site or by clicking on this big orange block in the center of the site. On this page, you will find the VisuAL BA bundle, which contains all three of the VisuAL BA products, as well as the 3 products listed independently. There's even a link for you to download a sample of the products for your own consideration. The BA interactive tables are a colorful and interactive summary of the key constructs defined in the BABOK. The interactive tables won't replace your hard work figuring out the theory, but they will help you recall and drill the details, as well as help you make the connections and associations between the tasks and the techniques so that you can see how they work together. The VisuAL BA mind map is for those that want a quick summary of the inputs and outputs and techniques without a lot of text. And the VisuAL technique usage table are for those that want to see BABOK summarized on one page. Now let's take a look at the interactive tables. The first page is the title page. The second page contains a few notes on copyright and references. On the third page is where you'll find a note about how you might want to use the tables, as well as a legend that introduces the colors that are used consistently across all of the VisuAL BA products. A different color is used for each of the 6 knowledge areas. Now note how your mouse will change shape as you hover over the boxes, indicating that the text is actually a hyperlink. If you click on the link, you will be automatically transported to the page where that knowledge area is defined. And for those of you that are wondering why I start the numbering of the list on number 3, this is because the numbers in front of the knowledge area title identify the chapter of the BABOK where the additional details might be found. The numbers also help identify and distinguish the different boxes for those individuals that may have a difficult time seeing colors. For example, if you click on the link for 4, elicitation and collaboration, you will automatically jump to the page where the details for elicitation and collaboration are defined. The details of the chapter are summarized on one page. The page contains a summarization of the task names, descriptions, inputs, elements, guidelines, techniques, and outputs, as well as the stakeholders that may be consulted. The page title appears with a gold background and contains a reference to the chapter in the BABOK that is relevant. Just below the title is this banner or a legend that helps and recall all the different knowledge areas in the BABOK. By continually seeing the order and colors of the knowledge areas, you are continually reinforcing your learning. Now, while you're on the page, you can see the tasks listed in the order down the left-hand side of the page. Again, the numbers in front refer to the section in the BABOK where the tasks are defined in detail. As you read across the page, you will notice other hyperlink references. You can use these links to jump to the details of the tasks that create the artifacts that provide inputs or guidelines to a process. You can also jump to see details on the tools and techniques that may help you complete a task. For example, as you are reading about how to prepare for elicitation, you may want to learn more about brainstorming. Simply click on that hyperlink beside brainstorming and it'll take you to 10.5. Here you will see a definition of brainstorming, the elements to consider, the strengths and the limitations of this technique, and a summary of the different tasks. Now this is where you can build your own adventure. You can either click on 4.1 or 4.2 to return to the discussion on elicitation and collaboration, or you can click any one of the other links in the page to pursue additional learning. For example, you may want to understand how brainstorming is used to assess risk, or define change strategy, or how it's used to plan a business analysis approach. At this point, you can jump to any other section by clicking on the links at the top of the page or at the right side of the page. And just like that, we find ourselves in Section 3, learning about business analysis, planning, and monitoring. Now I'd like to introduce you to a few of the bonus pages that are included with the interactive tables. On page 4 is a one-page summary of all of the tasks defined in the BABOK, grouped by knowledge area. Again, the numbers reference the section in the text where the details are defined, and the hyperlinks will take you to other parts of the document. In the middle of the document is a summary of the key outputs produced by each task, and yes, the hyperlinks work here too. So, if I wanted to learn more about the tasks and outputs associated with business analysis, planning, and monitoring, I could jump back to Chapter 3 by clicking on the links in this section. Finally, the last page of the interactive tables contains a one-page summary of the various perspectives and underlying competencies described in the BABOK Guide, 3rd edition. Now let's turn our attention to the Visual BA mind map. As with the interactive tables, each page contains the description of one knowledge area. This is Chapter 3, Business Analysis, Planning, and Monitoring. The title of the page identifies the knowledge area and the chapter of the BABOK where additional details may be found. Down the center of the page is a list of the tasks associated with that knowledge area, and on the edges are the inputs, outputs, and techniques associated with that task. Icons and their placement help to identify and distinguish the inputs, outputs, and techniques. Inputs are shown with a blue arrow leading in. Outputs are shown with a green arrow pulling out. And techniques are represented by a toolbox. Chapter 4, Elicitation and Collaboration, is presented in the same manner, but notice that the color of the title banner and the task boxes have changed. The rest of the chapters are presented in a similar manner. Finally, let's look at the Visual BA Technique Usage Table. The first page presents the title. The next page contains the BABOK on one page. Across the top are the 6 knowledge areas and 30 tasks. Down the left-hand side are the 50 techniques. And again, the numbers appear in front to help reference that section of the BABOK where additional details may be found. If a technique is used to support a particular task, a Y appears at that intersection point of the techniques with the task. And for those of you that are numerically inclined, I have added a total count of utilization for each row on the right side of the page and for each column on the bottom of the page. Now, if you turn to the last page, you will find a collapsed and aggregated version of this table. Now, just one final note. These study guides are presented in PDF format, which means that you can read them on your computer or take them with you on your tablet. but you can also print them and post them on your wall, or treat them like flashcards to quiz yourself, or write your own annotations and study notes directly on them. About the only thing you can't do with them is resell them, reproduce, or transmit them in any format or by any means without the prior permission of the publisher, me, because that would be copyright infringement and a little bit unethical. So there you have it, a quick introduction to the Visual BA Toolkit. What do you think? Could this toolkit be helpful to you? My name is Lachman-Doucet, and this is Projerra, the channel dedicated to practical perspectives in business analysis and IT project management. If you think this approach might be useful for your studies, please visit my website, projerra.ca. If you think this approach may be useful for your colleagues, please share this video or send them a link to my website. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today. Until next time, take care.